How do you play the Ruy Lopez Berlin Defense in chess? Are you curious about how to navigate the Ruy Lopez Berlin Defense in chess? This opening is a favorite among many players for its solid structure and strategic depth. Let's break down how to play it effectively. The Berlin Defense starts with 3 moves. First, you play one pawn to e4, followed by one pawn to e5. Next, you develop your knight to f3 and your opponent responds with knight to c6. Then, you place your bishop on b5. At this point, black plays knight to f6. This move directly attacks the pawn on e4, challenging white's control of the center. Once you reach this position, white typically castles their king. After this, black can capture the pawn on e4 with knight to e4. White usually responds by pushing their pawn to d4 to open up the center. Now, black plays knight to d6, putting pressure on the bishop on b5 while also preparing to regain the material. This is a key moment in the Berlin Defense. The game often leads to early queen exchanges, simplifying the position. In many cases, black ends up with doubled pawns on the c-file. However, this is balanced by having the bishop pair and solid control of the center. It is essential for black to be aware of white's potential pawn breaks, such as c3 and d4. These moves aim to gain space and open lines, so timing your own pawn breaks, like playing c5, is vital for generating counterplay. Another unique aspect of the Berlin Defense is that the king often stays in the center longer than usual. This means that developing your pieces efficiently is crucial. You should be ready to castle when it is safe to do so. The Berlin Defense is popular among strong players because it offers a solid and resilient setup. It is often used as a drawing weapon in high-level play, as it reduces white's chances of launching a successful attack. From white's perspective, the Berlin Defense presents a challenge. White must find ways to maintain central control and avoid entering a simplified endgame where black's defensive resources shine. White typically looks to build a strong pawn center with moves like c3 and d while developing pieces actively. To summarize, if you want to play the Berlin Defense in the Ruy Lopez, start with knight to f6 after the bishop move. Capture the pawn on e4 if white castles, then play knight to d6 to challenge white's bishop. Prepare for early queen exchanges and transition into a solid endgame. Always be cautious of white's pawn breaks and develop your pieces efficiently while keeping an eye on when to castle. This approach makes the Berlin Defense a respected choice for players who prefer strategic maneuvering and solid positions.